Welcome to Healthy Connections. I'm your host, Tobias Pugsley, and today we're in the Reppell Diabetes Learning Center with Jodi and Jan. And as a Southern boy, ladies, I know I love my biscuits, and today y'all are going to show us how to make gluten-free biscuits.
Yes.
I can't wait. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, welcome back to Healthy Connections with Tobias and myself, Jodi Bodenhammer. I am the diabetes nurse. This is my co-host, Jan Halligan. She is our registered dietitian, certified diabetes educator, and we are cooking up something a little bit different today. Typically, we focus on carbs and low calories and healthy eating, and what we found is recently there has been a greater need for gluten-free cooking. And so Miss Jan, of course, is always up for a challenge. I said, Miss Jan, we need a good gluten-free recipe to share with not only our patients, but our audience here today with our cooking show. And so our savory biscuits are coming in at our #1 choice for the gluten-free bread. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find gluten-free bread. When you think about all of the wraps, all of the different types of breads, even the breads that most people consider are healthy, for someone with celiac disease or gluten intolerance, that becomes a danger for them. It becomes extremely irritable to their gastrointestinal tract, could make them very ill, very sick, and even foods prepared in the same area with gluten can make someone with celiac disease very ill. So we've taken all the precautions today. You see all of our separate dishes and bowls. Very important to remember that when you're cooking, and I'm sure Jan's going to speak to that in a few moments to cut down on cross-contamination. You know, we think about that often with chicken and raw meats, but we have to also consider that now with our celiac and with our gluten intolerance as well. And I'm going to let Jan speak to a little bit more in depth about gluten, because a lot of people ask me, well, what is gluten? So I think that's a great way to start. And then she's going to be rolling out some of our gluten-free biscuits for you. So take it away, Miss Jan.
All righty. When we talk about celiac disease, what this refers to is an autoimmune response, and the people that have this autoimmune response are unable to tolerate the protein that is in wheat, rye, and barley. And if they have any of those, they are going to have intestinal problems, because this autoimmune response takes all these very fine, it's called cilia, little fingers that are in the small intestine, and it knocks them down. So food, instead of going through the small intestines at a slow, nice pace where you can absorb all the nutrients, goes wow. And so there isn't the absorption that you need, and it leads to very poor outcomes.
And not just the outcomes for the immediate problems like the stomach upset and those types of things, but poor nutrition in general because of the lack of absorption.
That's correct.
And so it becomes very important to not only, if you suspect that there's a problem, the screening process is fairly simple. It's a blood test.
Correct.
It's not, an astronomically expensive blood test, and our physicians right here in Mountain Home can perform that for you. But it's important to understand then the foods that contain gluten so that you can not only cut down on or just avoid them altogether. And there's a lot of sneaky foods out there with gluten in them. We've discovered that over the years together. You've taught me all kinds of things, and gluten intolerance is one of them. And I just cannot believe the amount of food and food products, even our spices sometimes can have gluten traces or wheat traces in them. And so that was one of the things that I've learned to watch for when I'm talking about or preparing a gluten-free dish.
Correct. And when you're talking about foods, also understand that there can be gluten in your toothpaste, in your medications.
Really? I never thought about toothpaste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hand creams and lotions, soaps, shampoos, even for us ladies, makeup. So it becomes a really sensitive type of a reaction once your body is rid of the gluten, that it can pick up on it and will react to it very quickly after that. So it's kind of tough. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for those of you that say, I can't have oatmeal also, any oat products, the reason for that for some people is because oatmeal is processed in plants that process wheat.
Yes.
So unless you get this oatmeal that's guaranteed to have been processed in a plant without wheat, you're taking a chance.
Just
Right.
like that cross-contamination we were talking about
Right.
earlier with you touching something and then touching a utensil or anything like that with any kind of wheat or flour product on it, that can happen before we even get to the food. Before
Right.
it even comes to us, that can happen in the process of getting the food to us. And so it's really a cool thing to learn more about. I know a lot of our folks come in and look for gluten-free recipes, and so just want to make sure you know we have those here and available for you. This is the Reppell Diabetes Center. Our main focus, of course, is on our diabetes patients. But since we have the talented Miss Jan, we also have a lot of nutritional information, diet information specific to different disease processes. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for you and for that option for our folks here in our Mountain Home area. Come by, pick up copies, get some information if you need it, and learn more about the gluten-free and the gluten-intolerant diets. So let's get to these biscuits. Tobias is
Okay.
over here ready to roll. I can
Mouth is
see,
watering
I
already.
can tell by the look on his face.
All right, one other thing.
Yes.
I am the outpatient dietitian for the hospital, so if someone needs in-depth counseling for their gluten intolerance or whatever, they ask their doctor to send over the consult request, and I will see them.
Sure, absolutely.
So
They get to hang
there's,
out with Jan.
I can spit and chew gum at the same time. Okay, so first I am going to take some of our gluten-free all-purpose baking mix, and this is found at, as I tell people, Wally World. So it is fairly inexpensive. Not as cheap as all-purpose flour, but it's doable. This box was, I think, $4.
Wow.
Yes, I mean,
affordable.
it's doable if you want something that tastes like the real deal.
Sure.
Okay.
And this is one of your favorite brands. Not that we just use this brand, but the King Arthur Flour Company. Jan has actually been and was able to visit.
And was in their
Really?
classes.
Yes, and has taken classes with King Arthur Flour. And so
Yes.
she's really familiar with the different types of flours that are produced. And I'm so glad to see, the more I go out and look for gluten-free, the more I'm seeing of it. You know, we're finding it at Big Lots, we're finding it at Walmart, at Town and Country.
All right, but
Harps.
at Big Lots and some of the other discount places, make sure that it's within its date.
Date,
Date,
yes,
check
just
the date.
check the
You have
dates.
to be careful.
Absolutely.
Okay, while I'm doing this, Jodi, you want to go ahead and crunch up the bacon bits?
Yes, I was up early this morning preparing this lovely bacon. And bacon is gluten-free, we figured that out for the most part.
I picked up the foods, and of course it is.
I laughed because I thought, well, what wouldn't be gluten-free about bacon? But
MSG and things like
as
that.
Jan was
Oh,
saying,
can be added.
the flavor enhancers and the things that they use to process could
Can be.
possibly contain some wheat or any of the other products. So
That's it.
I'm going to crumble up the pre-cooked bacon
Okay.
if I can
And
get it open.
I've got some green onions, and our regular plain fruits and vegetables do not contain gluten, so nothing has been done to it, so it's fine. And this adds in some flavor and color. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of canola oil. And again, our canola oil is a monounsaturated, heart-healthy fat. I'm going to add in a cup of natural cheese.
Yes. Oh, let's scoot that up so we can see a little
Okay.
bit better. Good.
And this is gluten-free.
And you're giving us the okay for a little bit of bacon because you're using not only the heart-healthy oil, but what kind of cheese?
I am using a natural cheese. It is sharp, but it isn't too high in fat, and I'm not putting that much in there. But because I am a judicious person, instead of half and half, I use the fat-free half and half in here. So it's the equivalent of skim milk. Okay? I'm adding in
Not on the taste,
Oh,
on the
no.
calorie side.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I use this all the time at home, and this is what I make my cream soups out of.
Really?
And all kinds of, oh, yes. Why would I bother with all that saturated fat?
Absolutely.
I can't afford this.
Fat-free half and half. It is one of our found treasures that we've used. Yes.
I have used this for a long time. I was supposed to use 2 eggs in here. However, I had to make a choice cost-wise. Do I want to get half a dozen eggs, or do I want to use some egg beaters, which are egg whites with a little coloring in them, and no cholesterol? So I do the egg beaters, and I always do because it's realistic. Then I add in the fat-free half and half. Mix it together. Now I'll need a little bit sprinkled on here.
Yes, ma'am. And I think, honestly, the toughest thing about these biscuits is chopping the onion and preparing the bacon. I mean, really and truly, we're just pouring into the bowl here and we're stirring them up. So they're so easy to make.
Well, and our one secretary who has to follow a gluten-free diet, when she smelled that bacon, she was sniffing around in the kitchen all the time, keeping her out of it.
She knew what we were making too.
Yes.
Miss
She knew it was
Leslie.
coming, huh?
Yes.
Yes, knew
And
what it was coming.
What a great thing for us to learn more about with her, and as we've gone along, she has definitely been a trooper as far as getting the diagnosis and dealing with it. And that's something else, that we try very hard to help prepare folks for, not only with our diabetes patients, but other disease processes. Oftentimes it's not just one thing they're dealing with. There's several other things that are going on. So what are you doing now, Miss Jan?
Well, I could have rolled this out, but it's a little bit sticky right now.
Okay.
So I'm just taking a clump of it and patting it out nicely.
Okay.
But if you want to see me roll it out, I can.
Oh, sure. Whatever you want to do.
All right, there's one in there ready to roll. So I'll have to put a little bit more flour in here. It's like any other recipe. You've got to make it work for you. And if it's too sticky, you're definitely not going to be able to roll it out. So add a little more of their flour. And this flour is made with whole grain brown rice flour.
Brown rice flour.
And yet it doesn't taste like rice.
Very good. All right, while you're doing that, we need to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll try some of these biscuits.
All righty.
Hey, welcome back to Healthy Connections. Today we're making some gluten-free biscuits, and Jan's just finishing up getting them nice and rolled out, and then we're going to use, what are you using here? That's not a biscuit cutter.
Waste not, want not. It works just fine. You need a 2.5 inch biscuit cutter. Guess what, folks? 2.5 inches.
And that's a half a cup.
It's half a cup.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect.
So I just dipped it in a little bit of the flour here, and this is the rice flour, the gluten-free one.
Sure.
And then went like this, moved it around, and because the edges of the half cup measure are fairly sharp,
Just
you
makes
get
a nice little biscuit.
Makes
Perfect.
a very nice
I love
biscuit.
it.
Well, it makes sense.
Well, and you know who likes to, I've shared with you before, my kids like to help me make cookies. So they're going to love to help me make the biscuits by cutting them out.
Sure.
Anytime we can make a mess in the kitchen, it's,
yeah.
it's always a good time, so.
It's fun. And they're not perfect simply because you've got the bacon in there. And so some crumbles are going to be that way.
Going to be a little crunchy, yeah.
Yes. Now, that's it, folks. They have to be baked for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's all
That's
we
it,
had
huh?
to do. That's all we had to do.
So we're going to bake those off in the oven, and through the magic of television, I'm going to go away, and Jan is going to actually pull out some already cooked biscuits so that Tobias can try them today, and we are pretty excited about them as well. So.
Oh, yes. These
all
are
right.
good. They've been tested. Okay, here we go, fresh out of the oven. And you see they do raise up some. Some people say, well, gluten-free means that it's going to be so hard. It's going to be dry, it's going to be a mess. And the answer is no. If you choose your ingredients carefully, choose your flour products or flour wannabes carefully.
Hot.
That it is, but I'm really impressed with the consistency. I mean, biscuits.
Looks like a
They
real biscuit,
crumble.
a regular biscuit,
They
yeah.
crumble. This is.
Yes, and tastes like it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, wow.
Yummy. And we have something else for you, and this will be photocopied because they're no longer making these. Okay. And this is a list of foods, the food categories The gluten-free foods are in the green, in other words, green for go, so you can expect those to be just fine, not having any gluten in them. Yellow is questionable, so you're going to have to check those ingredients out. And red means do not go there, because they're going to have gluten in them.
Right.
And we talked about all the products that contain gluten. All right. We've got in the green on the back, we've got the unsafe ingredients, and the red are the safe ones, and you will see a lot of them.
You said that backwards. I'm going to correct you there for just a second.
Green
the green
is the safe.
The unsafe
Safe
is
is
the red.
red.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. That's okay.
You know, Miss Jan,
I knew what you meant.
I don't think Red Lobster has anything on your biscuits here. These are delicious.
They
Absolutely
are
fantastic.
good.
Those are the favorite biscuits too. I know my kids love those.
I can see
Yes.
why.
Yes, absolutely.
And so this gives people a good idea of those ingredients that they need to avoid, because a lot of them they would not think would cause a problem in a food, because we've
It's
added
sneaky.
so much now to our foods to get them to last longer, to not fall apart as soon, to give them a little extra flavor.
Food enhancers, they call them.
Yes, food enhancers.
Yes, so kind of
And
watch out for those.
People have to be careful. And also provided is a little ticket that says, I need to follow a gluten-free diet. And you show this at a restaurant and say, please be careful, even with crumbs of food. Do not provide me with anything that's got wheat, the barley,
Or the rye.
or the rye.
That's good. Good to know
Yes.
too. Yes.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of this recipe, where do they need to go?
Absolutely. We've got the recipe ready to go to pick up here at the Reppell Diabetes Center. And we can also, as Jan said, we're going to be giving out copies of these gluten-free ingredients lists and our gluten-free and what to watch for the not gluten-free list of foods as well. And we're located here, if you're not familiar with the Reppell Diabetes Center, we're on the Baxter Regional Medical Center campus, across from the ER entrance. Over in the community support houses, and we just welcome anybody with food questions or needs to either call or come by. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 every day, and our phone number here is 508-1765. So if you've got some gluten questions or other nutritional questions, or you have some diabetes questions, let us know. We'll be glad to help.
Well, ladies, thanks so much for being on Healthy Connections today.
Thank you.
And definitely stop by and grab that recipe. I promise you won't be disappointed.
All right.
All the recipes that we've made today have been absolutely fantastic. And we appreciate you watching. So we'll see you next week on Healthy Connections.